Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Apolla's Odyssey. I'm your host, Apolla Asteria, and tonight's show is going to be about watermelons on Mars. I didn't say it, the New York Times said it, and it's pretty interesting. They retracted the article soon after, so, apparently someone may have been very high at the New York Times, but we're going to talk about it. I mean, who knows? Maybe there is some secret advanced spacefaring civilization that's underground on Mars and has watermelons in their bunker or in greenhouses. Who knows? So we're going to discuss all this on tonight's show. I also want to talk about Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and their moon race. So that should be interesting. Also, I'm just going to talk about the latest in disclosure. Really seems that people tend to enjoy when I do my show on my own more than with other people. One of my last guests was a little, I probably shouldn't say that on here, but it was a little weird for me. So, tonight's show, I'm just going to have some fun. I like having fun on here. And also, I want to let you all know that the studio is really coming together. I spent all day working my ass off on it yesterday, and man, I am sore today. Me and the person I went in on the studio with actually probably moved our sets on other sides of the room like 20 different times before we figured out exactly where we want everything. I have a little spaceship thing behind me for those of you who haven't seen, as I've done some shows there, but I haven't had my full setup yet. But I'm going to be making this like kind of control panel thing. So I have that partially set up. I'm going to finish it, but I want to make it look like I am like running my show from a spaceship with a control panel, like a spaceship control panel. So it should be interesting. I think it's really coming together. So it's really exciting. And if you want to help fund that, it's been a lot for me getting this all together. And I've been saying this for a while, but I do want to start scripting some amazing new episodes for my show that are like a little more well thought out and edited instead of all this live stuff all the time. And that's the next step. Once I am in that studio and it is finally up and going, that's what I'm going to be doing. So if you want to help me out with everything, instead of just, donating in the live chat, which you are more than welcome to do, you can also check out my art. So I have the Shaman Spears Odyssey collection. And for those of you who, I don't know, are like randomly tuning into my show tonight and don't know what I do, the Odyssey, Shaman Spears are basically handcrafted energy channeling devices. They're kind of like technology. They're like a mix between art and technology, and also like a mix between wands and spears. So they're kind of for, interfacing with your own energy. And I say that because there's copper coils, crystals, magnets, and sand I collect from sacred places around the world down the insides. They all have naturally magnetic hematite sand inside them, and a lot of quartz from near Giant Rock in Joshua Tree. For those of you who haven't been there, it's a really incredible place, very sacred to the Hopi Native Americans. And there's a hill made completely of quartz crystal right next to Giant Rock, which just happens to be on the intersection of the 33rd Lee line and the same Lee line that the Pyramid of Giza is on. So it's a very interesting place. I put quartz from there in all my spears. Let me see here. What am I missing here? Oh, and I also charge them all on a collective. So every new spear I make makes the whole collective stronger. Every healer who charges their spear also charges the whole collective. A lot of very interesting people have my spears, and I probably made hundreds at this point. So I did a little interesting thing with a new collection. I have the Odyssey collection, but I have, which is all silver staffs. You can see behind me. Also, I have Organite spearheads on some of them, which I made myself. And sorry, there's something flying around from the screen. And Organite spears on the ends of some of them, which I also made myself. But with this new, smaller collection, which I just posted today, they are called the Shaman Spears Minis. They're little baby Shaman Spears. I just think they're so cute because I'm used to having the bigger Shaman Spears. But yeah, these ones are like little babies, little baby shaman spears. They're kind of like one size, they're super light. And also, little selling point here, they are much lower price. They range from $55 and $77. So much lower price point. They are great for friends and family, gifts, yourself, whatever you want to do with them. Also, here's another example of some of them. I probably have about 20 in the minis collection. They are pretty sweet. And like I said, a lot of them have my own organite, which I handcrafted myself. So pretty fun. Also, up on my shop, I have a couple of the organite brass knuckles left, organite pyramids, and organite necklaces. And I will be selling all of these if you're around the LA area or you would like to come to LA and have some fun. I will be selling all these in person. It's my first event I will be doing with my spears in person since the beginning of COVID. And that will be on June 19th. That is Disclosure Fest, which is right here in LA. So Disclosure Fest, just look that up. I should have had a link prepared for that. I didn't think I'd be mentioning that. So make sure you go check out Disclosure Fest because they're a really incredible organization. Not only do they have speakers from the UFO kind of spiritual community, but also they do a lot to give back to the community. They actually do these different like initiatives. Some of the initiatives are helping out the elders. So they go to nursing homes and kind of work with the elders in the nursing homes. Some of them, they actually help like younger kids from impoverished neighborhoods, schools from impoverished neighborhoods. And one that I like to join in on a lot is feeding the homeless in Skid Row. It's kind of sad to experience it and also really, really nice to give back to the community. I mean, it's horrible how bad it's gotten here in LA, but I think they are doing a little better with everything out here. So that's good to see. Sorry, just looking at the comments here. Leon the Wise says, too sharp, you'll poke your eye out, kid. Yeah, I felt like I wanted to promote the minis collection for little kids, but I don't want to be responsible if a kid pokes their eye out with them, so I don't know. That's up to your discretion. If you have a kid and you want to give them a spear, you didn't get that from me. It wasn't my idea. That's, like I said, up to your discretion. But because these ones are a little sharp, but not super sharp. They're pretty dull, actually. But if you just kind of jab them the wrong way, they might cause a problem. So, and here, let me show you all the shop before I get into everything here. Again, that's www.shamanspears.com. There's the Odyssey collection. And not all of them are shown here. If you want to see all of them, make sure you click View All or go up to the right-hand corner of the screen and click on the collections. Here's the minis collection. I love the phrase Shaman Spears minis. It's kind of like Reese's minis or like Reese's pieces. And then here's the organite key necklaces and everything else. Oh, and here are my friends holding my spears at the bottom here. I did a really fun shoot last year with everyone, kind of right before COVID all started. I hope to do one of those again soon. Okay. So, first up here. So, I just want to talk about a lot, pretty much everything that's going on in the mainstream media in regards to disclosure, UFO disclosure. It's been quite the interesting year, like pretty much right when all this COVID stuff started around this time last year, a little earlier than that, I believe it was. That's when all the UFO disclosure stuff started coming out, which is really weird. It's almost like they were waiting for like a time when things were getting really crazy and people wouldn't be as freaked out, I guess, about it because they're more freaked out about everything else that's going on in the world, or maybe they were hoping it wouldn't be. They wanted to just release it at a time when it would just get buried in the news, which is interesting because you would think it would be like, you know, the biggest news ever. And I guess I don't really talk to a lot of people who spend a lot of time watching mainstream media. I just don't. So I don't really know how the general population is with all this UFO disclosure stuff that's happening, but I think it's very interesting. I have had a lot of, you know, usually when I'm out and about in LA at different events and, you know, little shindigs, I usually tell people, you know, when people ask me what I do, I told them I speak and have a show in the kind of UFO community. And pretty much the first thing they say is, oh my God, there's so much going on these days with aliens. So, you know, a lot of people are hearing about it. I think it's really fascinating. So first I want to get into the watermelons on Mars. I think it's really funny. So the New York Times, they came out with this article, and I tried to find the original article. This is the only place I could really find a full photo of it, but this is it here. They only had it up for, I believe, I don't know, it was like a few minutes or so, maybe longer. I'm sure a lot of people saw it when it was up. But here is what exactly they said. So here's the article. Just imagine looking at, I mean, most people that look at the New York Times like tend to think that they are, you know, not like, you know, pretty serious articles. So I can imagine what the people, like the first people who saw this must have thought. But so here's what it says. It's unfortunate that delicious watermelons, oh wait, I'm sorry. Hold on, this is not, I'm trying to find the part. Okay, this is what it said. Authorities say rise of fruit aliens is to blame for glut of outer space watermelons. The FBI declined to comment on reports of watermelons raining down, but confirmed that kiwis have been intercepted. The story is terribly boring. Watermelons taste good, please say. So this is pretty funny. I mean, obviously, whoever was at the New Yorker must have been high on something. I'm sorry, the New York Times. Or, I don't know, maybe they were just trying to have fun. So, I wonder if whoever did this got fired. Oh, did I just show that? I hope I just showed that article. I just clicked back. I'm not sure if I actually showed it to you guys. This is it right here. Okay. So, The Independent released a really funny article about this. Let me pull this up. There's no evidence of watermelons on Mars, even if the New York Times tells you so. Watermelons have probably not been discovered on Mars, even if the New York Times bizarrely and briefly claimed they had been. The prestigious newspaper published, then quickly deleted an article on Tuesday morning describing the amazing find, according to reports. Oops, sorry. I accidentally just clicked out of that. Okay. Let me pull that up again. Sorry, 1 second, you guys. I don't know how I clicked out of that. Okay, here we go. This was probably the funniest one, in my opinion. So the prestigious newspaper published and quickly deleted an article on Tuesday morning describing the amazing finds, according to reports. Authorities say rise of fruit aliens is to blame for glut of outer space watermelons, the story read. The FBI declined to comment on reports of watermelons raining down, but confirmed that kiwis have been intercepted. The article, which was attributed to a Joe Schmo, stayed live on the New York Times website for less than an hour before being deleted and replaced with a message that read, "This article was published in error." The newspaper confirmed that it had been caused by a simple mistake made in the newspaper's content management system. Earlier today, a mock article intended for a testing system was published on our site in error. The article has since been removed, and the newspaper confirmed in a statement to The Independent. NASA says that there's currently no evidence of life on Mars and has had the Perseverance rover working on the surface of the planet since February. I don't think that's true, because I actually heard that microorganisms have been discovered on Mars, so I think that's false. It's a false statement. Also, I heard that the secret space program is going on there, but who knows? Anyway, it has sent back to Earth more than 75,000 photos in 100 days on Mars, which saw it make the first ever sound recording there, but has not reported back any fruit or vegetable discoveries. BS. China landed its own rover on Mars last month and has this week published its first pictures from the planet's surface. Its Zhurong rover is a solar-powered vehicle designed to last at least 90 days on the surface of Mars. Okay. So, this is just really funny. So Ben Chastain says here microbes have been found in lava. I think that counts as life. I'm pretty sure that counts as life. And Leon the Wise says here they make candy bars. That is true. What is the phrase again? Girls go to Mars to get more candy bars, and guys go to Jupiter to get more stupider. I used to say that all the time when I was a kid. Me and my girlfriends, we always said that in the cafeteria at lunchtime, and our little boyfriends would get so mad at us, but it's true. Anyway, I think I think that there is some things on Mars, and there at least was in the past, because if you haven't seen some of the research out there, some of the photo evidence, there are actually pyramids on Mars. I did not prepare that for the show, so let me pull that up here. 1 second. Okay. So I actually did a report on this on Third Phase of Moon, so you can probably look that up if you want to see that later. Look up Third Phase of Moon, pyramids on Mars. But right here is just some of the photo evidence of pyramids and this weird face thing. It has been found on Mars. And there's also, I don't see it in the photos here, but there is some photo evidence of what looks like tunnels in certain places on the surface of Mars. So, I don't understand why they don't send the Mars rovers there. I think that's kind of interesting. I mean, actually, a small rover, it probably would be hard to judge what is actually being shown from, it's so small compared to the size of the pyramid. I would like to know what the face looks like a little closer, though. I wish they would send something out there, and I'm sure, they already probably do know. But so my personal opinion on this is that I think that there once was a highly advanced civilization on Mars, probably I don't know, maybe 200, 300,000 years ago, 700,000 years ago, maybe more, or maybe less. And I think what happened was there was also a planet between Earth and Mars. And I think there was some life on Earth, some life on this planet between Earth and Mars, which was called Tiamat, I believe. And I think there was life on Mars. And I'm sure this planet between Earth and Mars probably had pyramids on it too. And I think at one point there was some sort of war, or maybe something kind of came around. Maybe a Nibiru came around and affected all these planets. I know Nibiru does have, Planet X has a magnetic gravitational pull, which is very strong. And supposedly when it comes around, it affects the magnetics of all the planets it passes close to. Also, it has a lot of debris around it, which, obviously the planet between Earth and Mars would eventually explode and became the asteroid belt. So I think there was some advanced civilizations on these planets, maybe even less on Earth than there was on Mars. And then some sort of cataclysm happened, whether it was man-made, alien-made, or natural. It could have very well been, maybe they became highly advanced and had a war, and through some sort of radioactive activity, they maybe exploded bombs on the surface of their planet and exploded the planet. Who knows? So that's kind of my opinion on what happened with Mars. I do believe at one time there must have been a very advanced civilization there, and then it lost its atmosphere. Yeah, probably due to radiation. Dodge the Badger says men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Funny. Alien Girl says they landed the Perseverance where an ocean used to be, so they have a higher chance of finding fossils. That's interesting. I did hear a little about that. I wonder if they found any fossils yet. If you know anything about that, update me, Alien Girl. But, I think there was definitely a lot of life on Mars at one point, and I think there very well was probably human-like beings, or at least, advanced beings, not just microorganisms or animals or plants. Leon the Wise says they wanted to overtake the good aliens, and they got greedy, kind of like Satan. Interesting. So, there was another article I had here on the New York Times, the watermelons. Let me pull that up. This one. Oh, am I sharing the stream? Yep. Okay. So, Futurism says, New York Times publishes, then deletes article claiming watermelons were found on Mars. Let me see if they say anything different. But this is pretty much the same thing everyone else is saying. But basically what they say is, earlier today, a mock article intended for a testing system, so apparently it's from a testing system, was published on our site in error, they told Futurism. The article has since been removed. In other words, it sounds as though the article appeared as some sort of content management system test that was accidentally made public. Needless to say, there is no currently available evidence of watermelons or any other life on the red planet. However, several NASA missions and a rover sent by China are all investigating the possibility of ancient life on our planetary neighbor, and scientists say it is possible that microbial life still lives there, likely deep under the surface or in underground bases. If there's any evidence of fresh produce on the red planet, though, it's not yet public. Whatever. So I'm just looking at your comments here. Yes, Christy Kirby, New York Times is part of the mainstream media, and they did say that there are watermelons on Mars. So I just went over that, so if you want to go back and look, it's pretty interesting. Good to see everyone here. I like hosting my own show. It's kind of fun. When I have other people on, sometimes it gets a little boring. I mean, sometimes it's fun. Sometimes it can get a little boring. I kind of like doing it myself better, and I think I'm going to be doing this a little more often. Hope's Core Camden says, my melons are actually named Moon and Stars. I'm curious to know what you mean by that. Are you actually growing melons, or are you talking about your woman parts? Sorry, maybe that was inappropriate, but I'm just not sure what you meant there. Okay, so another thing I want to get into is Elon Musk and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and their race to space. So this is really fascinating. Obviously, Elon Musk runs SpaceX, and Jeff Bezos, I actually did not even know this until very recently, but Jeff Bezos has his own space program called Blue Origin, and I did not know this. So, and actually, until this all came out about their kind of race to space in the past like day or so, which is weird. It's like, okay, so all these billionaires, they obviously see. What's fascinating about this is obviously all these billionaires are seeing that space is going to be something that is going to be highly marketable in the future. I mean, actually, that's obviously what this shows, because if they felt like it wasn't, they wouldn't bother to put so much money into it. I don't think it's just for the historical factor of it. I really believe that they see, I mean, they probably wouldn't put so much into it unless they saw that they were going to be making a lot from this in the future. So that just goes to show that that space is going to be a highly profitable in the future if all the billionaires are racing to be the first ones with their ships in space, and the first ones to have, ships that go from, one coast to the other, like hyperspeed. It doesn't just mean going to space. That also means, like, I've been hearing for a while that they've had patents for planes that are actually more like rocket ships that, go up in the atmosphere from LA and land in New York in 7 minutes. Wouldn't that be amazing? I would love to go to New York in 7 minutes. Maybe I could go there and see my friends during the day and come back later. That would be really fun. So obviously all these billionaires see this as something very profitable and something that is a possibility of, what we're moving towards very soon here in the future. Otherwise, they wouldn't be messing with it. So that's what I find really fascinating about all of this. And, it's not just everyone's talking about. So apparently, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are now racing each other to be in outer space. They're both saying that one of them is going to make it to space before the other. But Richard Branson just came in and said, nope, you know what? I'm getting there first. So I believe this just came out today, and obviously Richard Branson has Virgin Galactic. I wasn't sure what was happening exactly with Virgin Galactic because, there's been a lot of changes to the company. It had actually been sold to, or at least the airline had been sold to Atlantic Airlines, or Alaska Airlines, my bad, Alaska Airlines. So I found this really interesting, and that actually made me sad because Virgin's Virgin's planes were my favorite planes to ride on. I mean, the inside of them was so cool. I mean, they had like sick, like LED, like pink lighting, and like just like very like white, like clean kind of amazing like seats, and just everything about his planes were really my favorite. So let's see what this article says here. A different billionaire is going to beat Musk and Bezos to space. Virgin Galactic founder Richard Branson could fly to space just a bit earlier than Blue Origin and SpaceX's founders. Oh, and first I want to say, what's interesting about Jeff Bezos is like, okay, I actually heard that every Amazon package that is sold, he gets either a dollar or $2 out of every Amazon package sold. So I think that's really wild. I mean, this guy is just like incredibly rich. And honestly, if I was this rich, I would probably want to just fund the people who have anti-gravity technology, because I know they're out there. And I mean, why not just give everyone flying saucers? Like, seriously, like, what's with all this, like, my rocket is bigger than yours deal that's going on? But anyway, move over. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Richard Branson may be the first of the space firm founders to actually make it to space himself. Blue Origin announced Monday that Bezos, its founder, would fly on the firm's first crewed mission scheduled for July 20th. That's pretty soon. But later that day, Parabolic Arc reported that Virgin Galactic is planning to send Branson on a suborbital flight over the July 4th holiday weekend. No freaking way. I'm wondering, where are they flying? Like, okay, it doesn't say here where Bezos is actually flying to. It just says that they have a mission. So I'm curious to know where he actually plans to fly to. The news marks a unique twist in the emergent new space race, getting the company's founders into space on their firm's own creations. Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, and SpaceX have all worked to expand spaceflight to civilians, meaning a flight for the founders is perhaps the next logical step. Branson congratulated Bezos in a Twitter post and teased his own flight, saying, "Many congratulations to Jeff Bezos and his brother Mark on announcing spaceflight plans." Jeff started building Blue Origin in 2000. We started building Virgin Galactic in 2004. Dude, I did not hear about Jeff Bezos starting Blue Origin in 2000. I seriously did not even know about it until like a day or two ago. That's crazy. Sorry for the interruption. Going on. And now both are opening up to space. How extraordinary. Watch this, space. Want to find out more about the emergent new space race and competitors like SpaceX and Blue Origin? Oh, sorry, ad. Anyway, the report from Parabolic Arc claims that Virgin Galactic needs to obtain clearance from the Federal Aviation Authority to fly Branson, as the firm is currently only allowed to fly employees to test rather than for commercial purposes. It also reports that Virgin Galactic started planning the flight in response to Blue Origin's initial announcement of the first crewed flight. What is Virgin Galactic's flight plan? Details are hazy and nothing has been confirmed yet, but Branson is expected to fly on Spaceship Two rocket dubbed VSS Unity. The rocket flew as recently as May 22nd. The VMS Eve aircraft took off from the Spaceport America in New Mexico carrying VSS Unity. Around 1 hour after liftoff, the aircraft released the rocket. The rocket fired its engines and reached an altitude of around 55.45 miles. The VSS rocket is designed to carry 6 people over the course of a 2-hour suborbital flight. They will experience weightlessness for several minutes before returning to Earth. What is Blue Origin's flight plan? Bezos' maiden flight, announced on May 5th, will send 6 civilians past the Kármán line for around 10 minutes. The line, located around 72 miles above the Earth, is normally considered the boundary between Earth's atmosphere and outer space. The New Shepard rocket will launch from the firm's West Texas site. Blue Origin is inviting people to bid for one of the seats in an online auction. As of Monday, the bidding has reached $2.8 million, with 6,000 participants from 143 countries. Bezos' brother, Mark, will take the third seat alongside Bezos and the mystery winner. The final 3 passengers have yet to be announced. Does anyone have a few $1,000,000 they will let me borrow? I promise you. I'll use it to go to space, and yeah, I'll bring back pictures. Will Branson actually go to space? Many organizations consider the 62-mile-high Kármán line as the boundary of space. This includes the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, aeronautics body, but not everyone agrees. The United States Air Force and NASA, for example, placed the line 50 miles above the Earth's surface, and the FAI has also expressed interest in recognizing the definition instead, but for the time being, using the higher boundary. In short, the question of whether Branson will beat Bezos to space depends in part on which definition of space you follow. So this is really fascinating. There's a lot of things I have to say to this. First of all, man, I wish I could go to space, and if anyone wants to bid on me going to outer space and has millions of dollars, please send me up there. But, obviously, this is their way. The reason why they are all doing this, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Richard Branson are all choosing to themselves go to outer space, is obviously to prove that it is safe and that people can do it, which is crazy. I mean, obviously before, they've been kind of sending people on test monkey missions, and I'm not sure how much they've actually sent physical people out so far, but obviously this is them trying to prove to everyone that they have really worked through everything with this, and they want everyone to show everyone that they think it is actually safe to go to outer space. And this is something that once they can show to everyone that they can actually do it, that will just probably be the beginning of commercial space travel. And I think we'll probably be seeing that by the end of the year. So that's really interesting. And, at first it's like, who's going to be paying for this? I mean, what will commercial space travel include? I mean, does that just mean, people going to space stations, like super elite people just kind of having meetings at space stations? I really feel at that point, once the idea of us becoming a spacefaring civilization is really put out there in the collective, I think there's going to come a point where there isn't going to be just a leader of every country, like a president or a king or whatever. I think at that point, they're probably going to look for someone to be a representative or a leader of the entire planet. So I think that's really interesting. But, I feel that a lot of what commercial space travel is going to mean is just kind of going to different parts of the planet much more quickly through, like, obviously they were saying the part where Earth's atmosphere and space actually begins hasn't really technically been agreed upon, but wherever that area is, that's kind of where, if you go up there at high speeds and, travel, you can go to another side of the planet much more quickly. And, if they can do this, obviously they're working on doing this in a very cost-effective way. I know that's what Elon Musk's whole plan has been. The reason why, he's been making his ships the way he's been making them is because he's been trying to do them in a way where all the parts can be recycled and reused, so it makes space travel much less costly. Leon the Wise is here. Stargates. Stargates would definitely be much more effective, in my opinion. Interesting. But, I really feel that, I mean, who knows if there really is a secret space program. A lot of insiders have supposedly come forward and said there has been, and there still is, and that is in Antarctica. Who knows? I have been following that for a long time. I have interviewed several of those insiders. I've seen a lot of their work, and I don't really know what to think about it. But in the meantime, it's like, obviously they are releasing this to the general public. They're trying to, like, push commercial space travel onto the general public. So that's really interesting. I had another comment on this here. I'm trying to think. What was... Something else came up to me with this. Oh. So, I just happened to be at the Vandenberg, what used to be Air Force Base, just this last weekend, because my time-traveling DJ friend Amanda Darling just happens to live right by there in Lompoc, California. So I was up there this weekend filming a music video, and I had to drive a little further north, and I just happened to pass by what used to be called the Vandenberg Air Force Base, which I have passed by many times before, and it always said it was the Vandenberg Air Force Base, and now it's called the Vandenberg Space Force base. And it was so cool. I wish I would have got a picture of this, but there was like a giant Space Force logo on the side of the road, and just this huge thing that just said Space Force, and it had the logo that looks like the Star Trek logo, and it was so freaking cool. I really wish I didn't have anyone in the car with me. I really wanted to take a picture with this. I hope I can go up soon and do that, but man, it was so cool to see. And I actually, over the last weekend, it was like not last weekend, the weekend before, I was kind of traveling around, and on Memorial Day, I happened to be at Chicago O'Hare on a layover, and they actually had a giant Space Force flag in the middle of the airport with all the, like, it showed all the flags of all the different branches of the military, for what, you know, behind this kind of Memorial Day art installation. And there was a giant Space Force flag behind it. And so it's like really cool to see all this. There's so much coming out right now. And it's interesting that they're really pushing the Space Force, commercial space travel, and all this right at the same time as they're kind of ramping up disclosure. And it's like, why has disclosure been kept a secret for so long? This is the one thing I always say to people. Everyone's always so like excited, like, yes, you know, we're finally getting full disclosure, or like, when are we getting full disclosure? And I'm like, you know what? Like, what bothers me is like, why the secrecy in the first place? Why was this ever kept a secret from the general public? This is something that, you know, if it was never a secret from the beginning, or wasn't like people weren't threatened to stop thinking about it, or like, you know, stop talking about the idea of aliens. Like, I think, you know, that must have been a religious thing in the past. Like, people were kind of forced to like not talk about it anymore, or they would have been like burned alive at the stake or something. I think I think it would have been, you know, really, sorry, Leak Project. Rex Bear from Leak Project just commented watermelons, and it totally threw me off. Yeah, if you're just tuning in right now, Rex, I don't know if you've seen this. The New York Times posted an article saying that there's watermelons on Mars, and they had it up for a couple seconds or a couple minutes or so, and then they deleted it. But they totally said it. I already talked about it for like an hour though, so you'll have to go back and check that out. But I can't believe you haven't. I don't know if you've heard about that yet, but if you haven't, you should definitely go check that out. It's very entertaining. But I hope you all like the thumbnail for my show. I actually worked really hard on it. My friends over at Third Phase of Moon, they told me that I should make more thumbnails with like arrows pointing to things, and I thought this was the perfect one to do it with. So I just, you know, I don't know if you've seen it, but I found a picture of Mars, and I put myself hunting watermelons with aliens on Mars, and I put a bunch of like watermelons all over the surface of Mars. And it was really fun. Rex from Leak Project. I was just gonna say, I would love to do a podcast with you soon. Again, actually, as soon as you would like to, I am down. Please hit me up and let me know when you are available next. Or if you want to come on my show, I forgot to mention that. If you want to come on my show, please get at me. I would love to have you on here, since I have not done that yet. Okay, yeah, I got excited seeing Rex on here, and it completely threw me off. Where was I at here? Okay, so we talked about Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson. Oh, this is something else I wanted to say. You know, all these billionaires, they're like rushing to like have their ships out there. Oh, so the other aspect of what I was trying to say, with all these billionaires seeing space as obviously something that is going to be very profitable in the future, is asteroid mining. I actually just had my friend Brooks Agnew interviewed on this show a couple weeks ago or so now about asteroid mining. So if you haven't seen that episode, please go back and check that out. I really feel it's an important episode, and he did a really great job in that interview. He actually kind of does a whole presentation on my show. And he's an engineer, and he's done quite a lot in his career. So he's a very credible person, and he has also written a book about asteroid mining. And apparently, there's all these minerals on asteroids that can be mined that, first of all, I think he said some minerals that have been found on these certain asteroids, or that they know are on these certain asteroids, can be used for nuclear fusion or fission energy, which means free energy for everyone, or very like renewable energy. So that's like different ways of having like energy provided to the entire planet. People are talking about running out of fossil fuels, and why are we destroying the planet? It's like, okay, let's send these ships out to asteroids and mine these other minerals, and it won't affect our planet, and it would be a great thing. And he was actually saying how it could be done. He lays it all out on the episode I did with him, so make sure you check that out. It was from a few weeks ago, I believe, but it's really interesting. I mean, it can be done, and I think that's why all these, it's not just commercial space travel. I think all these billionaires are racing each other to make space programs that are very safe and easy to travel, so that they can start sending ships out to asteroids and mining asteroids, because man, that is a moneymaker. And besides just whatever minerals can be used to provide energy for our planet, there's also probably diamonds and gold and all types of precious metals and precious stones. So, that will be hitting the jackpot for these guys. And I mean, they're already billionaires. Is like, what is it enough? It's like, enough is never enough for these guys. It's like, how rich? I mean, they're already ridiculously rich, but they just have to be that much richer. Hopefully they can share some of that with the rest of us. Or some of us can start making our own rocket ships and going up there. I mean, everyone's doing it these days. Another thing I wanted to mention is Jeff Bezos. Everyone is saying that the Blue Origin, I believe he said, Blue Origin, his company Blue Origin, I think it's really interesting because you never hear about that anywhere. And that just goes to show you, it's like, there's so many kind of like elite people in this world that are working on projects that, some of them maybe don't want to be so public with it, like Elon Musk is, but they're still working on these projects. I mean, who knows what else is being worked on that is not being made public? I'm sure there's a lot out there. And not just in our country, like the billionaires in our country, but, there's probably billionaires in China, billionaires in Russia, billionaires all over. I mean, from what I've heard, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in Antarctica. And, if they're sending out anything, if they're working on things in Antarctica and sending out, ships from like way deep into Antarctica, we wouldn't know about it or see it, so that kind of does make a lot of sense. So I think that's really interesting. It's like, okay, so what exactly are they working towards? And I think, what it is they are all trying to beat each other to those asteroids, because they want to mine these asteroids and get all the energy and resources from them before anyone else, and so that they can become billions and billions and billions of dollars richer. And yeah, I don't know, maybe there's more agendas to it, who knows? Maybe they're just trying to meet some aliens, who knows? Okay, so what else did I have up here for you guys? Matthew here says Admiral Byrd said it was warm in Antarctica. Yeah, under the ice in a certain part. Okay, so let me see what I had. Forget what other articles I had up here. Okay, so I've just been kind of like every week going over some of the latest disclosure stuff in mainstream news articles. Hate the mainstream media, but I guess it's good to know what the general public is talking about. So the Scientific American says experts weigh in on Pentagon UFO report. The vast majority of examined incidents were not caused by U.S. advanced technology programs. The forthcoming report concludes. So what is going on? So this came out 2 days ago. So I thought this would be interesting to read. Why do they always have to show this picture? I just think that's kind of funny. I know they have better photos. I know they do. Anyway, for more than a decade, the U.S. Department of Defense has been quietly cataloging and investigating scores of bizarre encounters, most from the U.S. Navy, of ships and fighter jets tangling with or being tailgated by unidentified flying objects. Beginning in 2017, videos and eyewitness accounts of these weird sightings found their way into the public view, ultimately spurring Congress to demand that the Pentagon produce a report summarizing all the U.S. government knows about so-called unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs, an alternate term with considerably less stigma than the much maligned UFOs. That's so lame, right? I mean, I talked about this on a previous show, but it's like they literally had to change the word UFO to UAP because the public is so programmed to think conspiracy theories when people say UFO. So lame. Anyway, produced under the auspices of a Pentagon group called the UAP Task Force, an unclassified version of the report is expected to be released later this month. Upon establishing the task force, the DoD released an accompanying statement explaining the justifications for its existence. The safety of our personnel and the security of our operations are of paramount concern. The Department of Defense and the military departments take any incursions by unauthorized aircraft into our training ranges or designated airspace very seriously and examine each report. This includes examinations of incursions that are initially reported as UAP when the observer cannot immediately identify what it is he or she is observing. Assessing the alien hypothesis. Meanwhile, all this strangeness has garnered considerable media attention, from front-page stories in the New York Times to 13,000-word articles in the New Yorker, as well as prominent coverage on 60 Minutes. You know, this is just all very boring. I'm not hearing anything new. Yeah. Yeah, you know, they're saying, oh, there's no big reveal. Okay, see, look at this here. I'm sorry, I'm just skimming over some of this, but they're saying there is going to be no quote-unquote big reveal, says Robert Schaefer, a leading skeptical investigator of UFOs. There's no aliens here on Earth, and so the government cannot disclose. You know what? I'm just done with this article. This is just complete bullshit. I'm sorry. You know, I can't do it, you guys. We all know that's not true. The Scientific American, I'm sorry, I don't want to hate on them, but it's like they're all about, oh, we're so skeptical. We have skeptics on here being very skeptical and critical about everything. And it's just like, I don't know. I can't take it. This whole, it's like people tend to see science as like, people don't realize it, but science is basically like the new religion. Like, and I say that because I actually read a whole book on this, on Mark Booth's The Secret History of the World. And what that book is about is, it's really actually an important book to read. I definitely recommend reading it. And he kind of basically researches all the secret societies from the beginning of time, starting with the ancient Egyptian mystery schools and then down to like the Masonic societies that are happening now. And he kind of goes over what all their beliefs are and what they've kind of done over time. And obviously these people are all the people that kind of really control and run everything on the planet. And it's not a conspiracy, it just is what it is, you know. But what was interesting, something I found really fascinating in it was that They used to use religion as a way to control the general public. And this is not, like, this is 100% fact. This isn't some weird conspiracy thing I'm making up, whatever. It's like, literally, this is what they did. The general public, had to be controlled in some sort of way. And it used to be religion up until recently. In recent times, I believe in the past, like, 100, 200, maybe 300 years, they started using science as the new way to control people. So before it was like, oh, don't do this or God will punish you, whatever. Now it's more like, and when I say controlling, I mean in like the general way of like thought or consciousness. So, when science is used by these experts, quote unquote experts, and they're like, listen to these people, and whatever they say is 100% legit and fact based and fact checked, and Snopes says it's fact checked to be true, whatever. It's just it's like, okay, scientists have been saying for years like different things, and then they become proven to not be true, and this is always changing. I mean, I don't think anyone can actually say that they actually know factually what is going on. And I think it's really comes down to, these scientists are just kind of, labeling things with statistics. And, what it really is, what scientists are doing is they're creating theories or hypotheses. If something is a theory, that doesn't mean it's 100% true. It doesn't. It's a theory. That's what a theory is. It's something that might be true or it might not be. So, and it's like, who pays these people? A lot of these scientists that are running things, especially when it comes to the global health scam that happened over the past year, a lot of, not all of it is a scam. I'm saying certain aspects of it may or may not have been a scam. And it's like, these scientists that, came out with the information about everything, which obviously changed like probably 100 times, in regards to the health stuff throughout the entire past year. Did they really know what they were talking about from the very beginning? And do they know now? Do they think that, these shots, like, are they actually helping people? Because I haven't seen much evidence on that. I haven't. And I think, a lot of people seem to be having major issues with them. So, that's just what I have to say about all this. It's like, people just kind of blindly follow these scientists, and it's like, think for yourselves. They're coming out with theories. I mean, these people that are injecting themselves with things, they're injecting themselves with a theory of something that may or may not be factual. Someone said, Mr. Scott says 99% of it is a scam. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And it's sad. It really is. So, I feel like just honestly, my general opinion is, that science is used as a control system. And that, I'm not saying that science is wrong or bad. I think science is great. But it's like, when they have these certain individuals propped up and they're like, listen to these people and everything they say is true because they have an indoctrination certificate from their university. It's like, I don't know. I mean, who's to say what they're saying is true and what's not? Like I said, it's all a theory. They're all theories. And, I just think I'm only saying this because I encourage everyone out there to think and research for themselves. I think that is seriously of utmost importance. It really is. Jamie Goodell says, get out of California. Yeah, everyone keeps telling me this, but I like it here and I don't like it here, really. It's difficult. It really is. I mean, I've been in the entertainment industry here for a long time, and I can't really do it anywhere else. But I technically haven't really done much in the entertainment industry this past year, so who knows what will happen in the future. Okay, we have one more article here. Let me see. I thought this was interesting. I just want to see what this is. This mainstream media article. Hate mainstream media. Anyway, so the Washington Post says close encounters, Democrats and Republicans unified and taking UFOs seriously. I find that fascinating. You know, that's something really cool. Like we can unite the entire country or maybe even the world over UFOs. That's really freaking cool. It really is. Like that's something I think the left and the right, for the most part, can both agree on. Is like, yeah, we want to know more about UFOs. We really do. In early April, former CIA Director James Woolsey told Black Vault, a website that collects paranormal case files, that he is not as skeptical as he was a few years ago, to put it mildly, about UFOs, and that something is going on that is surprising to a series of intelligent aircraft and experienced pilots. You know what? I don't think he was skeptical a few years ago. I think he knows exactly what's going on. That is a super lame statement. Sorry, going on. Speaking to CBS's 60 Minutes last month, Senator Marco Rubio said that while UFOs can still prompt a giggle, God, that just makes me want to puke, from lawmakers, I don't think we can let the stigma keep us from having an answer to a very fundamental question. A day after Rubio's comments aired, former President Barack Obama told CBS's The Late Late Show with James Corden that what is true, and I'm actually being serious here, is that there is footage and records of objects in the sky that we don't know exactly what they are. Yes, you do know what they are. Stop lying. Going on. UFOs, also known as unidentified aerial phenomena, in official parlance, are having their moment in politics, and a bipartisan one at that. This month, Joe Biden's Director of National Intelligence will release a report containing everything unclassified that the U.S. government knows about UAPs as a part of a provision contained in former President Donald Trump's pandemic relief package. When the report lands as early as this week, it will do so in a moment of rare agreement across the ideological spectrum that UAPs are worthy of further study. An increasing number of Democrats and Republicans, from former Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton and former Democratic Senator leader Harry M. Reid to Fox News host Tucker Carlson, have expressed an openness to UAPs, urging the nation's leaders to investigate the phenomenon. After this last year, it's kind of nice to see something that's bipartisan, said Robert Powell. Well, ain't that the truth? An executive board member of the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, a think tank of scientists examining UAPs. And why now exactly? Because, said former Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who served as Obama's chief of staff. It's all speculative, unknown, and a little sci-fi makes it intriguing. The government's effort to better understand UAPs began in earnest in 2007 when Reid, then the Senate Majority Leader, whose home state of Nevada includes Area 51, the Air Force's top-secret testing site that has long attracted UFO hunters. Reid privately approached Senator Daniel Inouye of Hawaii and Ted Stevens, Democrat from Hawaii, and Ted Stevens, Republican from Alaska, to request $22 million in Pentagon funding for a secret operation that became known as the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. The program, which no longer exists, studied UAPs, including encounters between UFOs and nations' military. Now, a new program known as the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force has continued investigating UAPs. Let me be clear. I have never intended to prove that life beyond Earth exists, Reid wrote in New York Times op-ed on May 21st. But if science proves that it does, I have no problem with that. For years, UFOs remained a taboo topic, relegated to the fringe of society and certainly of politics. But by 2015, while campaigning for the president in New Hampshire, Clinton told the Conway Daily Sun she thought Earth might have already been visited by extraterrestrial life and pledged to get to the bottom of it. Oh my God. Clinton? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh God. I don't even want to keep reading this. This is terrible. Oh my God. What if it was like Hillary Clinton was the one that came out and she's like, oh, I'm the alien queen. Okay, I'm just going to skip that part. I hope you all are okay with that. I'm sure you are. Anyway, after the 60-minute segment on UFOs aired last month, Carlson said the issue is a very big problem from a national security perspective, arguing that the military under Biden is focusing on the wrong priorities. UFOs, it turns out, are real. And whatever else they are, they're a prima facie challenge to the United States military, Carlson said. They're doing things the U.S. military does not allow, and they're doing it with impunity. Trump told ABC News' George Stephanopoulos in 2019 that he did not particularly believe in UFOs, but he was more coy about the topic when asked by his eldest son during an interview for his 2020 campaign to share more details about a 1947 incident in Roswell, New Mexico that holds outsized significance among UFO believers. I won't talk to you about what I know about it, but it is very interesting, says Donald Trump, the greatest president of all time. UAPs, once considered the conspiracy theory, have emerged as a topic deemed deserving of serious investigation at a moment when misinformation, disinformation, conspiracies reign supreme. You know what? I think misinformation and disinformation are being spread like crazy, and I think it's from organizations like this one that I'm reading right here, the Washington Post, CNN, and New York Times. Huge swaths of the country are divided on basic facts, like who actually, oh God, okay. Anyway, that's the end of that. Okay, I'm gonna go back and check out your comments here. Oh my God. The bearded sausage here says, why do you hate Hillary so much? She's so hot, fire emoji. She has feelings as well, you know? She deserves to have a love life. She's a woman. Okay, well, you know, I've just seen what her and Clinton have done, especially regarding children in Haiti. That's a starter for that, but you know, there's a lot more to it than that, and yeah, I'll just go with that, but that's hilarious. I don't know if that's a joking comment. I don't know if you're joking or not, but that's hilarious. Okay, well, this has been a fun show. I really like... Sorry, I'm just reading some of these comments here. So funny. Someone said CNN is my favorite BDSM on the mainstream media. Oh God, hilarious. Okay, this has been a good show. I've really enjoyed it. I love hanging out on here with all of you, and I'm probably going to be doing shows by myself more often. So I really enjoy doing shows on my own, definitely. So if you would like to donate, please, like I said, just go check out my art. These amazing new Shaman Spears are very low price. The Shaman Spears Minis collection, which is at www.shamanspears.com, which is on the ticker at the bottom of my screen. Also, I have larger stabs which are available here. And like I said, I'll be selling them all in person at an event in LA, which is Disclosure Fest, which will be happening on the 19th of this month. Next week, I will definitely be in the studio next week. hopefully it looks like that should all be ready to go. I worked super hard on it yesterday. I'll be working on it tomorrow and probably over the weekend. So I'm hoping by that point it will be ready to go. And I'm really excited about it, you guys. Thanks so much for all the donations over the past months. All the times you have bought my art is seriously very much appreciated. And I'm really excited for the future of this show. Also, please, if you have not done so, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, smash the whatever notification bell. Oh, Dreamcatcher, Skywatcher. I'm your new favorite YouTuber of all time. That makes me so happy. You know, I've been doing this show for like half a year now, and like I thought maybe I'd have more subscribers by this point, but I don't know. I think that's to do with me not having super edited, fine-tuned shows, and that's the next step. I'm really excited for that. So it all kind of comes down to getting into the groove of my studio, and then that will be happening. Yeah, I do like doing these shows by myself, Matthew. I think I kind of prefer it. So I'm going to be doing a lot more of these. Okay, so thanks everyone for being here. And until next time on Apolla's Odyssey, over and out. Have a good weekend.